Hello and welcome back to Everyday Cass. Today I wanted to explore organic food. Particularly I wanted to tell you 7 organic items that I always buy organic. I wish I could live a 100% organic life, but it is just too expensive. And so here are those staples that no matter what, I always buy organic or I just don't have in my house. Look at the Dirty Dozen list in your area. Everywhere around the world, there's certain items that get heavily sprayed with pesticides, making them quite damaging to our microbiome and our body overall. So that is why these 7 are my staples that I always buy either here in the UK or even in North America. Starting with probably the most important one, which is strawberries. Strawberries are one of the most heavily pesticide fruit out there. And all those beautiful little seeds you see, they soak up pesticides and put them deep down into the fruit. So even when you wash them, you're not getting the pesticides out. They're deep in the fruit. This is another reason why I always buy organic strawberries, is they taste so much better. So much better. Look at this. Do you see, like, you and I both know that the non-organic strawberries are not pink and red on the inside like this. They're not. They're white and they're tasteless and they're watery. This through and through tastes like a strawberry. It tastes like candy. It's just sweet with a little bit of sourness, like just beautiful. Really juicy. Now, why is pesticides such a pesky business? It's because they're linked to a lot of diseases. Cancer is the biggest one that they're linked to, particularly a pesticide called rthe, as well as we want to protect our microbiome as much as possible because it does so much for us. Another one that I always buy organic is bananas. Look at how small these are. Look at how small these are compared to what you normally see a banana is in the store. I have no idea why organic bananas are always a lot smaller, but they also taste different. They taste so much better, so much better. So although they're not part of the Dirty Dozen list, I buy organic bananas only because they taste so much better. So I know you're really liking this video so far, thank you. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button as it really helps my channel grow and it allows me to continue doing this. So thank you again for watching and back to the video. Let's talk citrus. Citrus is heavily sprayed with pesticides, and although it does have a really thick skin, a lot of these pesticides do go even through it. I always buy organic citrus, whether it's oranges, limes, lemons, it's always organic. I mean, like, look at that. They're beautiful. What I find with organic oranges is and maybe this is a drawback for you, but they're not as sweet a lot of the time. They have that citrus sour, that zing that I look for in fruit, not like just sugar water. You can taste the vitamin C. It's so rich. So, Get juicy. So good. Next one is apples, all things apple, including my apple cider vinegar that I always have. I always have organic apples in the house. They're a great, easy snack, but they do have really thin skin. One thing about apples is you taste the difference when you buy organic. It doesn't have a weird aftertaste, or the non-organic ones, I used to say when I was a kid and stuff that they kind of taste like the store. That was pesticides. And you can wash them all you want. It's just like strawberries. The skin is so thin and they do get sprayed quite a lot. The pesticides go right through them and we don't want those in our kits. So I always buy organic. Speaking of the Dirty Dozen list, spinach is one of the top ones listed in pretty much all countries for being heavily sprayed, pretty much taking away a lot of the nutrient benefits. The thing with a lot of the sprayed food that you buy, it's not so much even that there's pesticides in it, it's what it does to the soil as well. The soil that the food is grown in is not going to be as nutrient dense. It's not going to give as much nutrients to the food that it's growing in. It's essentially dead soil. And so when you buy organically, when you support organic farms, you're not just supporting yourself and not getting these pesticides, but you're also supporting the earth to get the dirt as nutrient dense as possible and getting those nutrients in you as well. So spinach, kale, romaine, any of my greens, I always buy organic. There's sometimes a bit of a price jump with it, but to me, it's It's a non-negotiable. I always do it. Sticking with the veg and fruit, another thing I always buy organic is carrots. Carrots are grown deep within the soil and they're full of carotene, beautiful vitamins, and I want them to be as nutrient dense as possible. And we just spoke about the dirt, so I want the dirt to be as healthy as possible so that the carrots have as much of those nutrients that we need, the least amount of pesticides in them. There's virtually no skin on these carrots, so anything that gets sprayed on top of them and in the ground just goes right into these poor little guys and then right into our system. So carrots, I always buy organic. Cucumbers, I already opened up this bad boy. Cucumbers are delicious and I eat them pretty much every day. And you taste the difference between an organic cucumber and a traditional cucumber. It is so alarming how different they taste. Taste so much better. And the skin, I like to keep the skin on. It has tons of vitamins in there, so I buy organic so that I can keep the skin on as well. Last but not least, I always buy my flours. I live a gluten-free life, but I do buy buckwheat flour, buckwheat pasta, things like that. And I always try to buy the organic brands. Why? Because grains are heavily sprayed with pesticides and there's no protection. There's no protection of a grain. All of those pesticides go right in there and then right into our system. So those are the items I always buy organic. Look up in your area which things are heavily pesticide, as well as do your own research on how pesticides actually affect us long term. To me, it is so crazy and alarming how many diseases out there are linked to pesticide exposure. Anything from lymphoma, cancer, to celiac disease, to dementia, to asthma, to IBS, to developmental delays. I mean, there is so many things that it is linked to, and it's everywhere. So if you're like me and you can't live 100% organic, try to pick those items that you tend to eat a lot, your family tends to eat a lot, that are heavily sprayed, and try to opt for those organic options. And yes, if you're one of those people and they're like, even the organic has some traces of pesticides, you're not wrong. If a farm right beside the organic farm is spraying, some of the spray goes on to the other neighboring farm. But it 1000% decreases the amount of exposure. So I won't get too much into the microbiome because I could talk forever about it. But in general, we want to take care of our microbiome as much as possible. 95% of our serotonin is produced in the gut, which is the happy hormone. It's what keeps us from being depressed. It gets us out of bed. It's what makes us want to go outside and play and talk to people. So 95% of it happens in the gut. You have to protect your gut as much as possible. Well, as your gut is your body's first immune response. So if your gut isn't healthy, your immune system isn't healthy. So keeping as much pesticides out of your gut as possible is going to keep your body overall much, much healthier. All right, so that was all the organic food that I always buy. Even when times are tough, even when I'm scraping pennies, I still always opt for these organic food items in my home. Take care.